YouTube. I'm coming to you today with how to save for an emergency fund. Basically, if you've been trying to save for an emergency fund and just can't seem to get to your goal, or if this is your first time even thinking about it, I'm going to give you 5 easy steps to get to your goal. First, let's talk about the reasons you need an emergency fund. What happens if you're unemployed? Or if you're stricken with illness, how are you going to pay your bills? You don't want to have to rely on credit cards or borrow money from family and friends. So that's the reason for an emergency fund. The first step to saving for an emergency fund is to calculate how much you need to have in this emergency fund. Basically, you would review all your monthly living expenses and add up the essential living expenses. The main essential living expenses are your mortgage or rent, your car note, gas, utilities, cable, food, groceries, the things that you have to have monthly. Everything else is optional. But I will mention this. If you are the type of person that when you're unemployed, you're still going to want to do the things that are luxurious, then you need to add that in also. Personally, if I'm unemployed, I'm going to stick to the basics. I'm not going out to eat a lot. I'm going to cut back, and I'm not going to get my nails done. I know how to cut back. So, as an example, if your total living expenses is $5,000, but only $3,000 of that is your essential living expenses, then $3,000 will be your monthly living expense. And then, how many months do you need? Most financial professionals will tell you to save between 6 and 9 months. That's also my suggestion. The amount of months you save really depend on you. If you're in a profession that you can get a job quite easily, then 6 months you may be comfortable with. If you're in a profession that if you're unemployed it may take a longer time, then 9 months may be something that you're comfortable with. Either way, you would take the number of months. In this example, I'm going to use 6. So you would take 6 months multiplied by $3,000. That equals $18,000. That is your emergency saving fund goal. So of course you use your own numbers to get to your personal emergency savings fund goal. The next step, step number 2, is to figure out how are you going to get to that number. In this example, it's the $18,000. You need to have some time frame in mind to get to your goal. If, for example, let's say your goal is to get $18,000 in that savings account in 3 years. 3 years equals 36 months. So you would take $18,000 and divide it by 36. That equals $500 a month. So that will be the amount that you need to contribute to an emergency savings account every month. Now for some that may be easy, for others that may be a little more difficult, but my advice to you is to start somewhere. Don't hold off contributing. Even if, most people can cut back on their spending in order to be able to contribute something. For me, something easy to cut back on is going out to eat. If you work and you go out to eat daily, that could easily equal $50 a week at $10 per lunch. So $50 a week, multiply that by 4, that's $200 a month. If you take your lunch 4 days out of the week and only go out to eat 1 day a week, you should easily be able to save $100 a month and contribute that into your emergency savings account. So just figure out a way to cut back on your expenses so that you can get to your goal, because ultimately this is where you want to be, and this is what leads you to being financially free. After you figure out how to get to your goal and you figure out how much you need to contribute to an account, the next thing you need to do is open an account. Yep. I suggest opening up a credit union account. The reason I like credit unions is because generally speaking, they are harder to get to, but the whole objective is to open up an account that you do not have daily visibility to and that is not connected to your everyday checking account. So that's why I like credit union accounts. But basically, you do not want this account linked to your everyday checking account. That will be a disaster, trust me. After you do that, the fourth step is to set up direct deposit so that a portion of your paycheck is directly deposited into that savings account. If you're not able to utilize direct deposit, then I suggest setting up like an automatic transfer from your checking account into this savings account every month. The fifth step is easy for some and hard for others, but it basically is you do not look at that money, do not think about that money, do not discuss that money while you're trying to get to your savings goal. You need to pretend like the money does not exist. The only time you need to think about that money is if you're unemployed or stricken with illness or anything else that is stopping your monthly income from coming in. So I hope these tips help you. Please leave a comment below. Tell me what you think. Let me know if you want to see some other types of videos related to personal finance, of course. But thanks for watching and have a great day. Bye.